Sherlock Holmes was a phenomenon of his age. The author Arthur Conan Doyle made millions, and from the stories forged a new kind of readership. In 1891, at the height of his popularity, his creator brought the series to an abrupt end.
The character of Sherlock Holmes undoubtedly took over Conan Doyle's life, and it irritated Conan Doyle immensely. He decided he would do the ultimate to his character and, well, kill him off.
One of the very great things about the story is that there's almost a touch in which you can feel insanity closing in as the mystery seems to be unsolved, and from that point of view, Holmes becomes a mental specialist.
Conan Doyle's relationship with Holmes asks more questions than it answers. Was there something disturbing behind the story of his invention? What made a young doctor from Edinburgh produce this giant of a literary character? A character that has been performed and portrayed more than any ever created. We're going to explore the world of Conan Doyle and discover the truth behind his love-hate relationship for his meal ticket detective creation, and ask the question, what was it that made him fight to kill off the man who had dominated his life for so long in one dramatic episode? There's something disturbing behind the story of his creation.
We're going to track down the people and the influences that lay behind the creation of what is without doubt literature's most enduring fictional character, Sherlock Holmes.
Was there a darker side of the story that we know nothing of?
Why get rid of Sherlock Holmes? The stories are written unbelievably close to the surface. That means that they were actually reflecting his own life much more, perhaps, than we realise. And he may have been a little worried that he was giving away rather too much.
Sherlock Holmes has a dark side to him. This is influenced by a man whom Conan Doyle must have known fairly well.
It's possible that the world's greatest detective is based on a cocktail of disturbing influences in the author's early life.
He's also been described as not so much a character as a collection of characteristics, but it's those characteristics which bring him to life. Dr. Watson does write of him in convincing detail. Does this therefore mean that there's a lot of a real person in him? Well, actually, yes, it probably does.
Sherlock Holmes is fictional. Of this we can be sure, although there is a world that wills him to exist.
We're attracted, I think, to something that's safely dangerous. Safely also because we know that Sherlock Holmes is there and he'll get us out of it.
But some experts believe there's more to the stories, that within the text is a secret code pointing to the flesh and blood existence of Holmes himself.
The various errors and inconsistencies in the stories were deliberately put in by the author as a sort of code leading to some sort of revelation.
Whilst mystery and intrigue still surrounds the legend of Sherlock Holmes, there is something in these stories that makes the reader try to dig beneath the surface, to discover for himself something larger than the stories themselves.
Why do people go back to them? Once you know what happens at the end of the story, there has to be something else for people to keep reading it and to keep wanting to see film adaptations.
He's not the only detective, he's the first one. That's the point, I think.
Conan Doyle may have been the man who murdered Sherlock Holmes, but both character and author live on in the minds of those who continue to read his works.